and welcome to another party slash hero spotlight here on the channel. First of all, just real quick, I wanted to apologize for not having put up any videos lately. Up until earlier today, I was stuck in the hospital. I've been hospitalized for the past week, week and a half, something like that. So haven't been live streaming or obviously making any videos. But now that I'm back home, I've finished resting and kind of wanted to uh, get back into the rhythm of things and start putting out these videos. So, you know, here I am and here we are. So let's go ahead and get started right away. Um, So I wanted to kind of show off a combination of just a fun little party to send into the ruins, one that doesn't, rely heavily on the Crusaders or the Abominations, which kind of just dominate, generally speaking, in the ruins, um, and kind of bring out the rank to Vestal out for a spin, because just generally speaking, it's a very very entertaining um, party composition to run with the brand new profane scroll that has, with the changes that have essentially been made to it with release. Now that it gives significant healing increase in position 2 and protection in position 2, and generally speaking, just higher debuff chance and additional damage, which allows you to then rely on Hand of Light or Illumination, whichever one you prefer, and really kind of wreak havoc, as we will see once we go in here. Um, Now, it's a double whammy because it's the Vestal, so because Hand of Light has 35% additional damage against Unholy, and we're going to be in the ruins for this particular run, we'll get to show off how she really does very well. Now the reason I'm going for the ruins is because this is a long champion length dungeon, and I just wanted to kind of show off how well this party does in as long a dungeon as possible, and what better way to show that off than in the champion rank long dungeon. Now I've already finished the darkest dungeon on this save, but I'm back on the save simply due to the fact that I have a large collection of trinkets and a decent amount of level 6 characters to kind of show off, because generally speaking, the best way to see how well a party does is in champion dungeons. Some party compositions do better in lower levels than high levels, but uh, and some do better in high levels than low levels, but we won't get into that right now. Just real quick before we go in, I'd like to show off what all these characters have. Um, when I was pimping out the Helion here, initially I actually ended up giving her the Heaven's Hairpin instead of the surgical gloves, but I figured, let's just go for additional crits. The surgical gloves got buffed in release. These gloves are probably some of the best trinkets, I think, out of the uncommons. A whopping 5% additional crit chance to melee, and a nice little, minor 5% additional accuracy buff. Just all in all, very nice. And the debuffs, the negative components of this trinkets, really, really are minor compared to the huge benefits that you get. Other than that, of course, we got the Ancestor's Pen here, which gives additional crit damage at the cost of additional stress damage taken. The Vestal, generally speaking, is going to simply have additional healing and slightly reduced stress damage from the Sacred Scroll, but then the stress damage reduction here is counteracted with a stress damage increase from the Profane Scroll. But we also get a little bit of extra damage and a little bit of extra debuff chance, a little bit of protection, and additional healing skills. So for the most part, we'll be relying on Divine Comfort. Divine Comfort to heal our party. Now, here and there, you know, I may end up rotating some of these characters around and end up getting Divine Grace. Some Divine Grace in if one character in particular gets focused. But for the most part, that's what we have our Occultist for. Now let's show off the Occultist here. Now obviously, he's got a disease that I just didn't feel like waiting out a week and removing. So he'll have Lethargy, but it's not going to have that much of a negative impact. Generally speaking, I equipped him with additional damage. I know he's not that much of a damage dealer, but the Occultist's Abyssal Artillery is going to allow us to dish out some pretty significant damage to the back line, with a total of additional 35% extra damage. And then, you know, he's got a little bit extra dodge, a little bit extra speed, and additional crits and damage specifically against unholy targets, which, since we're in the ruins, isn't going to be, you know, a problem. If anything, it'll probably be 85% of the mobs that we encounter there. That's just a rough guess. Then we have our Plague Doctor in the back. I picked up the Plague Doctor simply because I didn't want to go super cheese and get like a Jester or you know, a Houndmaster or an Arbalist to kind of just completely pimp out this party. And I know that sounds weird because you'd expect me to say this is the best possible party you could take into the ruins, but that's not what I'm trying to show off here. If I have to optimize the party, then I won't be able to show off, you know, the significance of the Vestal here. Now, I don't know if at the beginning of the video I mentioned that I'll be showcasing something else, but that's not exactly what I'm going for. I'm probably just gonna title this video and focus this video specifically around the Vestal and how I personally think that she can be played in an optimal manner in position 2. So just let's go real quick back to the Plague Doctor. Actually, let's get rid of Blinding Gas and get Disorienting Blast as well, and I'll explain why in a moment. Now, generally speaking, I'd put the Poisoned Herb on him, but I figured, you know what, we don't really need to do that. And the reason for that is because the blight chances are already going to be very, very high. We're looking at 20% plus 140%, so 160% chance to blight. Damn it. You know what? Better be safe than sorry. You know what? Let's do that. Alright, so now we're looking at about 200%, I believe. Yeah, 200% chance to blight. So we're pretty much guaranteed to get blight off on our opponents at this point in the ruins, unless it's like maggots or some monster that has very high blight chance. Now, the reason that I equipped the Disorienting Blast instead of Blinding Gas, I've been swearing by this for about 200 hours of gameplay. Blinding Gas, especially with Blasphemous Vial, you pretty much are guaranteed a 2-man stun to the back rank. Sorry, I don't know where that accent came from. But honestly, I've been really enjoying Disorienting Blast lately on my New Game Plus, and the reason for that is because I use it on, say, the 3rd rank, and not only stuns them, it throws them to the front, which completely messes up the enemy, or either the first or the second row. And in the ruins especially, where you got those noblemen skeletons, it deals quite a bit of damage to the enemy's lineup, and it completely throws them off and significantly reduces their damage output. So I kind of want to show this off to some extent as well. And that's about that. Other than that, I don't want to spend too much time here, or any more time than I already have, because, you know, that's not the point of this video. But, you know, with Darkest Dungeon, you cannot take too much time. No, it's impossible to take too much time in this screen setting up the right trinkets, the right skill choices. Granted, of course, you can always change the skills in the dungeon, which we will probably do. But for now, our focus is mostly... Excuse me. Right, had to yawn there. Completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, but for the most part, we can change skills in the dungeon, but it's always nice to kind of have a general idea of what you want and make sure you got all the trinkets you want. With that said, we are good to go. I really wish this went away because that bugs the hell out of me. Once you beat the darkest dungeon, honestly, well, I guess, I don't know. I mean, technically speaking, the whole point in going into the final dungeon, and this is a spoiler alert, so, you know, skip ahead 30 seconds or so if you don't want to hear this. But by going into the darkest dungeon, you kind of get an idea of what the world really is. So to some extent, I guess that it makes sense that, you know, you now get glimpses of like the eldritch beings that actually are invisible to the naked eye most of the time. I think we're good. Yeah, I think we are good to go. So let's get the show on the road. Now, as I said, we are going to be showing off the rank 2 Vestal here.
Pace out the halls of your lineage.
Now, this is
once
something I
familiar,
really like.
Now, foreign. Terrible.
Very, very much enjoy this. The fact that on release, this was added into the game where you now have a chance to, and most likely will, scout out ahead to some extent. Very, very much like that. I don't want to make it too low. Right when you walk in, so you know you don't get messed up. Now this is the disorienting blast I'm talking about. Not only do I get the stun off, but also the sharpshooter will now be forced to use bayonet jab, which is absolutely fantastic. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use Hand of Light here on this sharpshooter. Most likely I'm not gonna get to kill him here in the first round, mostly because he's stunned, so I have no interest in doing so. So if anything, you know, just get the extra bit of damage off on him, and then let's also debuff this guy here. And then, oh, no kill. Sucks. She had quite a significant chance to take him out, but no dice. No dice.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Now I think that's the one quote unquote fault with the Vestal, the fact that her accuracy is pretty damn low compared to the average character. Oh my goodness, dodge, dodge, dodge. Haha, joke's on you. See, that minus 10 accuracy really coming in handy. And that additional dodge also coming into play here. Not to mention that the occultists naturally have very, very high dodge rate to begin with.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Now, I was about to say, mind you, that damage was with the debuff, but apparently the debuff is no longer there, so doesn't matter. But anyway, look at this: 20 damage potential, damage healed right there. Anyway, I have no reason to poison him. He will be taken out, so you know I could get a little bit of extra healing in with Plague Doctor. And let's just go ahead and wrap this fight up. Now, again, this is a fun party, right? This isn't optimal by any means. Oh, but yeah, this is gonna be fun. So my Helion is Helion's curious. She got that, I think, last time I took her out. Excuse me once more. I think that she became curious a last time that I took her to a dungeon, so that is definitely going to be quite the hindrance. And I hope that it won't cost us too much. You know, let's go ahead and take out the torch.
Now, the darkness holds dominion.
Wow, that was a phenomenal treasure for full dark. Oh wait, we're not at full dark. What am I saying? We're close to full dark though. Whatever, I'll leave it like this. This matter. Let's heal. Alrighty. Now the Vestal surprisingly has a very significant amount of health. I just realized she has
Even the
pretty high base health,
stone seems bent on preventing
which
us.
again makes her a decent person to put in rank 2, especially with the 10% protection that she gains from the Frame Scroll. That extra bit of protection really makes this health go the extra mile. I have no interest in interacting with any of these. Mind you, this is a risk that generally speaking I would take, but again, with this particular save, I don't care too much since, you know, I've already finished it essentially. So acquiring new bad or good quirks on these characters really is not a priority for me in this particular playthrough. What do you mean you wonder how this works? You've never seen a damn box before? Crazy. Alrighty, so I think I will camp after one fight. I want to at least get some damage off on these characters so that when I do camp, we can really get some benefits from using 8 food. I want to feast, if anything. I brought more than enough food, you know, so just gonna take a swig out of my ball here. Now, this scenario right here where I get surprised is exactly why I go ahead and not completely set up my Vestal for position 2 by giving her Mace Bash or Illumination. And I don't have Dazzling Light. As much as I love this skill, with the new Sacred Scroll, that minus 30% stun chance just makes Dazzling Light complete garbage. It's literally nothing than a minor damage and torch increase ability. It's not worth it. If you want a good skill for rank 3 or 4, when you have the Sacred Scroll equipped, Judgment's pretty much your only choice. And Judgment it will be. Never mind. You evaded Judgment. But, you know, so as I said, getting surprised like this is pretty much why I do not pimp her out for just position 2. Because, luckily for us, she's still useful. So we do not have to worry about, you know, her having to move up front or only being able to use her party heal. She could still be useful from position 4, and that's the beauty of it. Now, granted, of course, the Profane Scroll missed out on the extra healing, the extra protection, but now that she's in position 4, that doesn't matter too much. She still has the extra little bit of damage that really makes that Judgment shine just a little bit more. I'm just constantly casting the stun. That's another beautiful thing about disorienting blast. Unlike blinding, disorienting. I'm not sure if I said disorienting gas or blast, but you know what I meant. That's another beautiful thing about disorienting blast compared to blinding gas. Disorienting blast has much more flexible degree of usage, or versatility rather, in the positioning and the targeting. So that's always very nice. Now, granted, the Profane Scroll is not going to help with healing, but our Divine Comfort should still kick some pretty nice ass. I'm expecting a 12 heal here or something like that. 10 heal, alright. So that was a low end heal. That was a 7 heal increased by 33%. Okay, so now that we're out of position 2s, the position 2 enemies we can no longer use. I forgot what it's called again. Blast. See, I don't even use the skill that often. Disorienting Blast. Don't even remember the name of it. Now, mind you, we got shuffled. Granted, that wasn't like, you know, a super scary ghoul lineup with the enemy or whatnot, but still doing pretty well in terms of managing damage and stress so far. Mostly because, you know, we're really messing up these stress dealers. If you recall, in the last fight with Disoriented Blast, the nobleman all the way up to the front, and he couldn't do anything other than use a knife in the dark, which is completely weak skill. Now with her, I'm mostly going to be using her offensive abilities to debuff these damage dealers, and meanwhile I'll use the Plague Doctor and the Occultist to try and kill off the Cultist Witch if I could. Now I will stun these guys here, or one of them I guess. Can I get the stun off again? That's 140 plus 40, so 180 minus... I got a 70% chance to stun, so let's go for it. There we go, beautiful. Also, we moved her to position too, so now the Hellion can start wailing, and never mind. Forgot that to keep moving forward. How annoying. How annoying. Now, notice, we're not eliminating our enemies, you know, with haste or anything like that. And that's just one of the downfalls in this party. As I said, this is more one of those fun comps. Look at that, 7 times 4. That's a 28 heal party-wide. That is epic. Absolutely epic. Jeez, that hurts. That is a lot of stress. So let's go ahead and get rid of those debuffs. She has a damage debuff from using WAP, and also 40% additional stress damage, which is an insane amount of additional damage that I would very, very much like to avoid. Now let's go for him. I know that I could probably eliminate this guy first, but if I get a crit and I get lucky, you know, we can avoid his damage all throughout, and unfortunately no dice, but there we go. Beautiful. Now you see my character is sitting at around 25 or so 25 or so crit chance each. So thanks to that, hopefully we'll be able to maintain the stress damage that we will take. Now let's go ahead and actually stun here. And the reason I do that is because she's dead. He will die next turn. I'll make sure to damage him a little bit here with the Vestal. But this is why I wanted to get an extra heal off if I could before finishing this fight.
Success so clearly in view, or is it merely?
Now at this point, oh, never mind. I was about to say at this point I feel comfortable camping, but apparently the game does not want me to do so. So have to wait, I guess. So that was like the fastest frickin' affliction check ever. But we should be okay. We should be okay indeed. I am not worried. Yeah, she's probably gonna get a heart attack check at some point if this keeps going, honestly. So let's go ahead and alleviate some of that risk. Generally speaking, I mean, this party is not designed for low light. It's just I wanted to somehow spike up the difficulty of this dungeon a little bit, because hell, I even have the candle, right? So. And I even have Photomania on my Plague Doctor, etc., etc. So this party is definitely not set up for a dark run. If you want a dark run, generally speaking, you almost always want to take some sort of a stress, a person that could heal stress off your characters. So a Houndmaster, Crusader, a Jester.
Strike.
think he shouldn't have any damage left. Okay, if that connected, he would have been at minus 100%. Unfortunately, no dice. Now he has minus 20% accuracy, so quite clearly that is affecting him quite a bit. They focused the absolute hell out of my Helion. No pun intended.
Cuts on its own.
Try to get some more heals off on her. And I see in terms of damage, I mean this party does absolutely great with healing. Everyone here has some form of a heal, some more than others, of course. Looking at my cultists in Vestal. But that's the one problem with this party, the stress recovery. Now, if you really wanted to make this party work, I would definitely suggest equipping a Jester. I think that a Jester would be absolutely fantastic in this party. You take the Jester instead of the Occultist, maybe. That would be what I would do personally, and put the Occultist in rank 4, and then have the Jester in rank 3. You know, using his stress healing, his debuff, maybe have a Bright Tambourine, not debuff, sorry, using his party buff, his stress healing, and maybe a couple bleeds or crits here and there. With that said, let's get rid of lethargy. And alright, so let me explain what I did here. So I used Battle Trance and Sharpened Spear for obvious reasons. She's in position 1. I want her to have those buffs. Now, notice that, okay, I just realized I made a big mistake. I realized that I gave him a minor debuff. I mean, minus 5 accuracy and minus 2 speed isn't that significant. But the thing is that what I was... Wait, could I not use Battle Trance? Yeah, I couldn't use Battle Trance because I didn't have enough points, but again, no biggie. Now, the thing is that this debuff, you can actually remove with medicinal herbs, and that's something that I do quite often if I am not an idiot and forget to have medicinal herbs to begin with. So, yeah, kind of messed up there, but it's not the end of the world whatsoever. You know what, let's interact with it. What's the worst that can happen? Get a little blight. Nothing bad.
Ambushed by foul invention.
Now that armor is going to be pretty darn sweet. See, so now I need to make choices. Do I want to get the blight off? Or do I want to throw one of them up front? Let's do that. I'll move one up front and I'll move the other up front. Oh, or not. That's actually a pretty rare occurrence. Where position 3 gets shuffled into position 4. Or position 4 gets shuffled into position 3. That's very unusual. Just, you know, chance-based. If you're in the back 2 ranks, you're more likely to go into the front 2 ranks just due to numbers and chance. Now, the bad part is that we are... let's do that. I really want her to use her Iron Swan to eliminate that back row. Now, our cultist doing work with that extra damage. Now, it's not just plus 15, it's actually plus 35 against these guys total. Now, he's dead next turn, so don't need to worry about him anymore. So let's go ahead and stun these guys. And defocusing the sergeant down. Now, if I'm lucky, I'd get a crit here and there and start recovering some stress, but so far we haven't had too many crits. I recall maybe 3 or 4 or something like that. Again, it's just a rough estimate, but still very unfortunate, to say the least. At this point, it's just a spam fest, not much to talk about. Regarding this fight there, we finally get a crit and we recover a measly 7 stress. Hurrah. Let's go ahead. Come on, just rotate, thank you. You know what, let's actually... I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and... Holy crap, she has 40? Huh, I didn't know that. That's nice. Paranoid gives a whopping 10 extra dodge, which isn't that bad. Obviously, the damage gets screwed quite a bit, but considering that we get this buff, let's go ahead and give her even more dodge. Now, this actually works out pretty nicely because with 50 dodge, she's quite a bit more likely to evade incoming stress attacks, which will help us maintain her at a manageable stress level. For an afflicted person, obviously, you know, for an unafflicted person, this is not where you'd want to be, but for someone that's already afflicted in a party where you can't possibly zero them down with combat skills, this 50 dodge should go quite a ways for us. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and have the occultist focus just on the ghoul, and the reason for that is because he has quite a bit of proficiency with Necromancer's Collar against the ghouls, so I want to get as many of those crits off as possible. Now, I will stun her and toss her up front. That's the beautiful thing about Disorienting Blast. There's no need to pull or push or anything. You use stun, you move them forward, guaranteed in this kind of setup, which is absolutely fantastic. Plus 120% right off the bat. Now, the beautiful thing is now I can go ahead and hopefully finish her off next round before she gets to act, although that's very unlikely. Oh, wait. Maybe. Nope, no dice. And there's the dodge. Thank you. Now all these characters have increased stress resistance, and my Plague Doctor already sits on minus 20 plus this buff, and then minus 15, so total of 15% stress reduction, which is pretty nice, you know, especially when he has she has skulls thrown at her face, and she's just able to shrug them off. Great, I kind of wanted to kill the occultist. I mean, witch. Cultist witch, whatever. You got my point. Sorry, the medicine and drugs from the hospital still haven't exactly been purged out of my body yet, so they're affecting me slightly, to say the least. I don't know how many times I've said to say the least. I don't know, 3-4 times in this video so far. I'm screwed up right now. I'm screwed up. I needed to get a video out there because you know, I promised myself that I would start just getting content out there more often, and I didn't want to let my illness stop me. Don't want to let my illness win. Maybe we'll be able to interact with this Curio with the Helion, with the Holy Water, and maybe get rid of Curious. Who knows? Maybe. Let's hope.
Masterfully executed.
Now, by debuffing this guy, we can really turn him into a non-factor. Granted, he has Ground Pound, which stuns and hits like hell, but, you know, giving him some decreased accuracy and damage, especially with some of these guys having slightly above average dodge, should give us quite the advantage in this fight. Yeah, this will mess him up pretty good. See, I don't need to focusing him anymore because this sharpshooter will die by the end of the next round. I mean, on his turn. Next round is what I meant to say. This Helion's just constantly pissing these guys off. Or inciting fear, whatever you want to call it. Ooh, big crit heal, very nice. There we go, see, so minus 10 accuracy, and he's trying to start the check for the damage on the Helion. Just no chance, no chance.
Precision and power.
So yeah, other than other than getting a little cocky and come on, get rid of Curious. So yeah, other than getting a little cocky and turning off the light levels, bring down the light levels for like 4 or 5 rooms. All in all, this party is doing pretty damn well. I mean, we can see on health, we're doing very, very well. Stress, we've luckily figured our way around, you know, being afflicted. He'll be forced to use clumsy axe blades, so in this way I'm essentially disabling 2 people. Very nice. Also very nice. There we go. Keep the stunts going. So yeah, we're doing pretty well on health and damage. Now, as I said, this is by no means optimal, right? But it's definitely fun comp. I just wanted to show it off. I personally have run the Vestal a handful of times ever since the game's been released. The full release, I mean, the whole change to Profane Scroll, which gives some significant bonuses in position 2. And I mean, it wasn't just the Profane Scroll, it was also the fact that Sacred Scroll got nerfed pretty hard. That 30% stun skill chance hurt the rank 3 or rank 4 Vestal pretty bad. I mean, it hurt it pretty hard. Now the Dazzling Light is not as reliable. So essentially, with the rank 3 or 4 Vestal now, you gotta ask yourself, do I want Sacred Scroll for, you know, a very large amount of heal increase at the cost of my stun chance, or do I want to have, you know, a person that can heal pretty well from the back and also stun, but, you know, without the opportunity of using the Sacred Scroll? So personally, if I were to run a Vestal in position 3 or 4, with the main focus of her being a utility hero, so heals and stuns, I would actually run her with Junia's Head rather than a Sacred Scroll. So maybe Junia's Head and a Tome of Healing, per se. So that would give you, what, 53% chance to heal? Something like that? Why she has a minus 5%? Oh yeah. Forgot. Still don't have any medicinal herbs. The ones I brought have already used up. these guys just are not hitting the Hellion. This is hilarious. The Hellion's not someone that you'd expect to be so dodgy, but with that Curio plus Affliction, she's dodging quite a bit. And it's not like this is impossible to recreate, right? You just need a couple of good trinkets, a couple of good positive quirks locked in, maybe a couple of combat buffs or a couple of camping buffs, but when just via curios and and affliction, actually negative affliction, right, to get 50 dodge, it's amusing. Plus 20% dodge is plus 20 dodge has really come quite a ways for us. I mean, we've, if anything, recovered stress over the past 2 or 3 fights. And these crits certainly help.
This expedition at least promises success.
Should I do it? I think I'll do it. Nah, not worth it. Oh, okay. I thought I selected the Plague Doctor, I clearly did not, and I just shot myself in the foot. But it's all good. Anyway, got lucky, found the secret door, just need to walk back a little bit.
The light, the promise of safety.
Whoops. Oh, come on. Just, there is no actual door for me to look at, so I just spam the up key.
Secrets and wonders can be found in the most tenebrous corners of this place.
It's not letting me camp. You know what? Let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. We don't need our key anymore because we already found the secret room. And that will be that. I will camp. Excuse me. I will camp in this room right here. We'll get those buffs out for the last 4 rooms of the dungeon. You know, she is curious, but she hasn't interacted with that many curios so far. I'm very happy with that. I mean, look at that, she's just walking right by him. She refuses to camp. Bitch, it's not up to you. Alrighty, let's battle trance, sharp steer. Oh, you know what? There, it's the exact same thing that happened here. Now remember, we did have enough points to use battle trance in the last camp, but she refused to use this skill, so we actually ended up losing out on these points. If I recall, I have 2 of them that can prevent. So that prevents, and Sanctuary also prevents. Let's give her Bless. She didn't accept it. I'm gonna use Unspeakable Commune here, mostly because I don't want to get ambushed.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
It's a bag. You've never seen a bag before? This knapsack. It seems interesting. How could it possibly work? Now, you know what? I should have used it on these guys. I forgot the move. I thought to myself, I'll explain to you why I did that. It's a bad thought, okay? So I'm recognizing it as a mistake. But my thought process was, oh, you know what? I'll use my disorienting blast on him. If I get lucky and he decides to move, maybe he'll move to position 4, which will then force these two guys to be in position 1 and 2. They'll both be forced to use bayonet jab. Unfortunately, his move resistance is 50% higher than theirs, and you know the odds of me moving him are minuscule. I think the chance to move is doesn't say. I assume it's the same as the stun. So, you know, very, very low chance to move him overall. Anyway, I mean, we're nearing the end of the dungeon. We gotta spend the next couple rooms at low-ish light. I mean, we'll be here at 75 light. This one will be, actually, this one will be below 75. This will be 70 light. This one will be 45 light or so. And then this one will be 20, yeah, about 20, 15 light, because every hallway reduces a little bit more than 25 light. So we won't hit 0, luckily, but definitely do expect to gain just a little bit more stress here and there on these characters on our way to the end of the dungeon. But all in all, you know, dungeon came along pretty well. Very happy with it. It was fun, that's for sure. You know, and I'll tell you what, I really hope Red Hook manages to think of more unique trinkets, like the Profane Scroll, for example. I really, really love to see trinkets that, you know, give the occultist some badass advantages for being in rank 2 or rank 1, so that you could use Sacrificial Stab, Hands from the Abyss, Daemon Pull a bit more often. I can't think of anything else that would be really cool on another character, to be honest. Trying to think right now. I don't know, maybe something that makes the Jester really strong in like position 2 or position 1 or something like that. You know what? I'm gonna have to put into stress recovery anyway. So screw it. Let's just get rid of stress on another character. I should probably get this party back in I think I just broke the game. I definitely just broke the game.
Pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar. Now,
let's get him stunned. Let's move you to the back, and boom, now we are all set and fixed. Huzzah. It's always annoying. Oh my gosh. Yes, thank you, please. Oh my gosh, that was phenomenal. That was a 30 heal, essentially. Not to mention that with 2 crits, each one of them also got some stress recovery in there, which is absolutely great.
Give them no quarter.
Hopefully our cultist will get a nice... Well, I guess he doesn't even have to crit her anymore, because she already acted, so he just needs to deal some damage to her, and she will just die next turn. I lied. He probably could have crit her. That would have been great.
As the fiend falls,
The occultist is like, let me show you how to crit, bro. I got this.
impressive. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. This expedition at
We
least
found like what,
promises
3,
success.
4 emeralds so far? Maybe 5? I don't know. It seems like we found emerald more than any other gem in this particular dungeon.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
It's gonna stun. Now, I stunned him so that I could just put all of my resources on the shield wall. I have no interest in dealing with him. The sharpshooter does not concern me whatsoever. And that's why.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Anyway, man, the little, what, we did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, hallways in full dark. And once she got marked, the AI just, the computer just focused the crap out of her. She got, I think she took like what, 3, 4, no, she took like 3 25 stress hits or something like that. So I gotta say I'm actually pretty lucky that, okay, so now that I'll continue with that thought in a moment. Now that torchlight's below 50, the candle no longer helps. If anything, it just causes him to take excess stress damage. So what I'm actually going to do is swap these guys out. And do that. Yeah. Since now he's not in position 3 anymore, he can't use sacrificial stab, but at least with the sniper's ring, he won't miss anymore. I don't care about that. Whoa, what? I guess that counts for completion. I'll take it. Caught me by surprise. Alrighty, well.
The shifted corridors and
Just real quick, I'm curious how much gold I have.
Are beginning to feel familiar.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. 20,000, so 30,000, 35,000 total. Well, okay then. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for checking out the video. I hope that you found this video entertaining and somewhat informative about the Vestal. If you enjoy the content, please go ahead and leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until then, have a good one. Bye bye.